Well, hello, hello, hello. Good evening. It's me again, and me again. I hope you know by now it's Joy. It's Joy Ruffen coming to you from the Sunshine State, Florida. And I hope that it's good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, and maybe to a few of you, good night. But I'm delighted that you're here. It's always good to have you here. Tonight, it's Wednesday night here in the sunny state of Florida and all pretty much across the world. And it's leading ladies. Leaving Legacies, Living Legacies. That's the title for our show tonight overall. But it's all about ladies who are trailblazers, ladies who are change agents, heart-centered leaders, purpose-driven, and so much more. The ladies that we bring to you are ladies who come to share their stories, their gifts, their talents, their skills, and to leave you with tips and a bit of magic for your life. Tonight, our guest is Caryn Treister, and she is a life coach, and she has a story that's beyond fascinating. We're not so much interested here in the backstory. We're more interested in the front story. But I'd like to share this with you before we say welcome and hello to Caryn. She says her life was seemingly the all-American dream. She had a nice family. Her husband owned a successful business, 2 kids, a dog, and a beautiful house, fun friends, and a profession which she loved. She was a water aerobics instructor and a personal trainer, and she had her own business sharing nutritional supplements and was one of the leaders of that organization. And this led her to speak in several areas, including Toronto, where she was paid to present her products and her business model. Also, she was the chair of one of the biggest networking groups in Portland, Maine. In addition to that, she was on the corporate track, teamed in her 40s, and excelled in several events. She did a little bit of everything. And I don't know what happened here. I think we lost her. Caryn is new to this, and she dropped off the radar. But you know, guys, the more I do this, the more I discover there's never a dull moment. And so what we'll do is we'll go back here and see what happened. I think she's coming back in. Let's hope so anyway. One of the things that we are working at doing here is bringing to you women who are leaders or in the process of being in what they do. And the excitement of that is that here are women who are wanting to share with you their stories, what they're about, and how they go about what they do, and how they hope to leave you information that will empower and ignite your story. One of the things that happened here is that Caryn, and I'm hoping she'll show up here, she's on an iPad. And she said this was her first attempt here, and she was beautifully presented in the lobby, and then she just simply disappeared. So that being the case, I don't know how to get her back here. But she was going to talk about from hopelessness to a life that's ignited. So in the meantime, while we're waiting for her and hoping that she can come on, I'm going to see if I can possibly, let's do a little dance here and see what we can do. Maybe I can get her to come on here. I love technology. I really do. For someone who's clueless most of the time, it never ceases to amaze me. If I can get her email and send her another link, maybe she can come on that way. Let's see what happens. She was there and she was as beautiful could be. And then boom, she just disappeared. So let me see if I can get her here and get her to come back with this link. You learn as you go. And see what happens. All right, let's send that. Woohoo! There she is. I love guys, you gotta love this. If for those of you who've not done live TV, you got to go with it because it is exciting. Say hello and welcome to our
Hello,
guest.
hello, everybody. Thank you.
You know what? I love this. And I was saying to our audience that this is the best because you learn as you go. Caryn, hello. I'm glad you made it back. We don't know what happened. We don't want to know.
Listen,
But
that's probably why I've never done it before. This is my first one. That's probably why.
it's okay. It's okay.
It's all right.
Listen, I'm learning too, and I'm a perennial student. So for me, every little setback, boom, I get it. And I was just sending you another email, and I didn't fall apart, which is easy. Well, I can't say that
Well,
because
I
I would
heard
not be
you.
telling the
I could
truth.
hear you. I was actually saw myself and I heard you. So I just clicked out of it and I put the URL back in and came on again. So
Good for you. Oh, you see, that's what it's all about. Anyway, I introduced you and I said hello and I welcomed you. So now what I'd like for you to do is I let them know that you're a life coach
okay.
and that our title tonight is From Hopeless to a Life Ignited. That's going to be the
Woo-hoo.
title of what we're going to talk
Okay.
about. So what I'm going to ask you to do is tell us a little bit about you, your background, your experience, and why you love what you're doing now. And good for you for coming back. I will applaud you until the day's end.
Thank you
You
so
go.
much. And thank
You're
you, Joy, for having me on. This is
most welcome.
this is
Most
just,
welcome.
one of those little kick in the butts that I needed. So I
Good for
appreciate
you.
it.
You are most welcome.
So for me, yes, from hopeless to a life ignited. And I am so happy right now. And let me tell you, I wasn't always. I did hear a little bit of what you shared when I started. When I first got married, actually, I met my husband. This is something that I didn't share, but in addition to those other things that I did, I also was a model. And in Chicago for 10 years and did commercials and modeling. So this was just another piece of the puzzle, that image that we had, that all-American dream. I
Mhm.
went on to do professions, I think that made me feel good. I was a personal trainer. I was in water aerobics. I did do the nutritional supplement and I helped other people. And I love that piece because they all sort of had a theme that I loved helping people. And that was important to me. And I was on a corporate track team. I did track in high school and I set some state track records. I was a leader. I did all these things. And my
Yes.
point is that I was hiding behind a mask and nobody really knew how I felt. Now, seemingly, I seemed like I would have a lot of confidence and I had it all together. But I can tell you that I didn't. And I can tell you that even with all these things that I did, it never made a difference. I had no confidence. I had low self-esteem. I needed approval. And I was just scared to death that I was going to be found out behind this mask.
Caryn,
Yeah.
I don't like to stop anyone ever, but I have to stop you there because that could have been Joy Ruffen sharing that story right there, more or less.
Really?
Because personal development and personal growth is for all of us who came for whatever reason and showcased our presence without a strong sense of self-esteem. And I think there's so many people, you and I are predominantly interested in the female persuasion as far as empowering, but there's so many men and women who are strutting around and that sense of self-esteem is not there. So we get exactly what you mean and how you present it and how you describe to us your background, because it might be different here and there for a lot of women, but underneath there's the same storyline. Yes.
I think so. And I'm hoping that people. Can you hear me
Okay.
now?
Well, that was my mistake, love. I pushed the wrong button, which is good. It's okay.
Oh,
Now I
okay.
know not to do that next time.
So,
Okay, go.
okay, so I'll back up, but now I know, that's where you came from, and I think that's so many people that we can relate to. Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me?
can hear you well. Yes.
I'm not sure that you can. I
Oh,
think.
I can.
Oh,
I
you
can
can.
hear.
I'm sorry. It just was a funny thing in the picture.
Mhm.
Anyway, so I had this mask, and I want to preface it by saying I didn't. My life was good, but in the later years, I found that there was just something missing,
Mhm.
and I felt like I didn't know what it was, but I was just feeling distraught. I was feeling hopeless. I was feeling like there was no way out. As a matter of fact, I felt like Hotel California. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
Good analogy.
And really, that was me. And I used to feel so bad about my situation that there was no way out, that I used to go and cry. I used to go in the woods. I'd take my dog and I would just cry. And I kept thinking, oh my gosh, I've got to live the rest of my life like this without knowing who that other person is from behind the mask. I couldn't imagine, you know, I just couldn't imagine me not being like that. And I thought that I was really doomed. I was going to be like that. And it just made me so sad. And that went on for a lot of years. And I still kept doing what I was doing though. I'm sorry, you wanted to say something?
No. I think that's a great description, and the way you describe that, it might be different in little tweaky ways for different people, but I think that's so common for many of us. Tell us, when did it segue? When did you turn it all around, and what prompted you to turn it all around?
There was something that I did start doing a little bit of the self-development. I started doing things on the side that that reading books, and I was one of the first ones to read The Secret, and then The Power of the Now, yeah, Eckhart Tolle, and things like that. And I thought, wow, it was hopeful. That's what I felt. Well, no. Actually, I didn't, because I was still hopeless. But that started to turn me around with the hope. And at that point, that's when I made the turn. And I thought, oh my gosh, there could be light at the end of the tunnel. There really, really could be. And that's when I decided. It took me, again, a lot of years. Now, mind you, I was married for 36 years.
Woohoo.
It was a lot of years. But when
Mm.
I made that decision, I was just, it was the hardest thing I've ever done. And I'm not blaming anybody, because I know it was me. I know it was because I wasn't strong enough. And that's the reason that I felt the way that I did. But when I made that decision that I was going to do it, that's when I started feeling that hopefulness, that, oh my gosh, I can be me. Because in my marriage, I had restraints. I had limiting beliefs, and I had restraints, and I couldn't do a lot of the things that I felt that I needed to do. That might have just been in my mind, but honestly, for me, that's what I had to do. I needed to leave my husband, and I'm not recommending that for everybody, because I'm hoping that people can do it within their families. But for me, that's what I had to do. And so,
Well, you said something there, Caryn, that goes way beyond profound, because you said that you realized that there was no blame there, that there was no sense in blaming him or the circle, the environment, that you realized that whatever it was your responsibility to jump in and rectify, correct, fix as much as you could what the issue was with you. Because what happens oftentimes is that people turn to someone else for their salvation before they come to themselves and go deep inside to look to see what the issues might be like. So that in itself was a good turning point for you. How long did it take you before you were able to pull, and I know, knowing that this is a time factor, did it take you to realize that you had to do this, and then before you decided that you had learned enough and gathered enough together that you would be able to be helpful to other people?
So because of my circumstances, I've been studying this for years, and I know it doesn't really take this long. That's why I really want to help accelerate things with people, as I know you do, because
Yes, yes.
it really was 10 years, but this is Godspeed. You have to remember, I had a lot of faith, and this is when the time was right. And for me, it was perfect timing. I went to the other side. I actually got a full-time job in healthcare for almost 2 years, which I really liked. But then I still knew there was more. I was like, wow, there's still something more. I feel great, but I want to be doing something else. And that's when I took the tools, everything that I've learned, and put it to use, and just really went deep within, and I found out what I wanted to do, and that was life coaching. And I absolutely love it. I love getting up in the morning. I love studying. I'm kind of a junkie that way. I love going about my day. I love helping people, and it's just exciting. I feel joy, happiness. I feel ignited. I really do.
Well, we see it. We see it, and you can feel it as well. Tell me about, with that explanation and that vibe that we can all see, about the people you serve. Who are the people who come to you? And I know it's varied and it's different, but give us a little synopsis of the type of person who comes to you, and how you help them to solve their concerns, their issues.
Oh, sure. So it's people, I would say, like me, I think. Not always the same story, but definitely they want something more. They're looking for something more. They don't know how to get it, or they just, there's different steps that you have to go through that I was going to touch on that will bring that awareness about to what you actually want. And of course, there's many other steps to actually have that come into fruition, but it all starts in the beginning with that awareness and imagination.
I love that. I love that, because one of my favorite sayings has always been, the person who is not going to settling into anything, for me, and hopefully for my audience and yours, we don't buy into that. Compromise, yes. Yes.
Never settle.
No, never settle. We don't settle. So one of my favorite expressions, Caryn, was always more, different, and better. What's wrong with that?
Right.
Yeah, that
Right.
speaks volumes. More, because we want more, and we want different from what
Right.
we're used to and what we've been involved with,
Right.
and better. Now, better is an iffy kind of word, but that's for another discussion. When people come to you, you've pretty much just, how do you help them to solve the major issues that they're dealing with? That could be kind of tricky to answer, but how do you, like one example that you can give of how you helped someone to solve the major concern that they were dealing with when they arrived at your doorstep?
Well, the interesting thing is, we all have the answer. It's all within us, and we already know what it is. We already know the answer, and it's just bringing that out in somebody. It's just, I've done NLP, the neuro linguistics programming. I love that. I've done EFT. I love that. I've got a lot of things, being grateful, and that's kind of on my tip list. Of what you need to do to get to that place. But the most important is state of mind. You got to feel good. You got to feel good to get what you want, to know what you want.
Yes. Well, you said something, there's certain buzzwords that buzz around us all the time. And the expression that you just used is always within us. We hear it all the time. I know I have. And yet sometimes I doubt, and I say, and then again, I know that it's there and it's okay. But why is it, you think, that all of us, to an extent, we know that, who was it? I think it was Les Brown who said, let us all walk forward and stand in our greatness. Why is that so difficult for so many of us? I know the answer, but share that with us.
Mm, in your greatness. Well, you don't probably know your greatness. I think people don't know it. They need to sit quietly. They need to go deep within. They have to clear their brains. They have to, get a clear path into where that knowledge and wisdom is. And if they don't have that clear path, they're not going to get there. And not only that, but all this stuff, this filter is just, in our heads. It's affecting our communications, our relationships, all this stuff in our life. And if people would just take the time to go within themselves, and I know it's easier said than done. I do meditate. I totally understand that. One of the things I wanted to share is just, if you just close your eyes and you're grateful, because being grateful is one of the best things you can do to get in a good mindset, get your mind thinking good things, getting away from negative thoughts and focusing on the good things. Because when you're focusing on that, when you're being grateful, you can't be angry and you can't have those negative, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. You're so on point.
Mm.
You said something earlier that I wanted to speak to, and because of how you described it, you said that we have to go inside, and going inside is good, and many of us don't know that. Most of us who do the work that we do, you, myself, and others that we meet along our journey, we do it because we had issues at one time or another in our lives. Dysfunctional family or a marriage that didn't work or whatever it might be. So what is a great tip? And that evolves many times for different reasons, but somewhere at the base of that, the foundation, Caryn, is a lack of self-esteem,
Mm.
self-confidence, and all of that good stuff. So
Mm.
what is a great tip or tool that you know now
Mhm.
that you could share with our audience that would help them to facilitate and rise a little faster than you and I and many others have thus far? What great tip or two that you know that you wish you had known earlier in life is what?
Right. Well, that I just shared about going in and sitting quietly and learning how
Mhm.
to just get to that place where you have that infinite wisdom, and it is wisdom. And how do you know? You're not going to find it externally. You may find other things, but to really find out who you are, I would suggest to really try and be those things that I talked about a little bit. I think trying to make you feel better in all ways is going to help you, like exercising and eating well. I mean, it's a combination of everything, of just feeling the whole, feeling good, taking care of our bodies, our temples, and taking care of, and that's what I had done. I had taken care of the outside, but I hadn't
Ah,
taken care of. You need to nurture the inside.
beautiful.
So, uh, doing things like paying it forward to somebody, doing an errand for someone, or making them feel good. How good is that going to make you feel? And that's going to be something that's going to take you to a place. When you feel that,
Uh-huh.
that's when you can go in and discover what it is that is hidden in there that
I
you
like
want to come out.
I like it. I like it. Very well said too. What is you might have, I think you've answered this, but we can circle around and do it again. What is a secret to success that everyone in the audience needs to know that you have discovered at this point in time? I think you spoke to several different issues, but maybe you can pinpoint something specific right now. A secret to success that you know that everyone in the audience could use at this point in time.
Well, I think dealing with people, I think understanding people is really important, and
Mhm.
looking at their point of view is extremely important. I think if you can take yourself out of you and put yourself in their shoes and look at it from their eyes, because sometimes we get into situations and battles and, jumping to conclusions and not really thinking about, why something was said or whatever, that if we just sat back once in a while, and even if it's already happened, to forgive is probably one of the biggest things that I would say. And I needed to do a lot of forgiving. And that was going in and looking at things from a different perspective. And I think that's some of the work that I know I certainly do. And if you can see that, then you're able to open that pathway up and those that path, for something new to come in.
I like that. I like that. You touched on something that's very prevalent within my DNA and my little circle, and that's relationship building. And one of the great, absolutely brilliant comments that was given to me recently that I knew, how you said earlier that it's within you and you know it, yet you hesitate sometimes, is they said you always start with the other person because it's never really about you. It's about them. So it's about you, and then you go on the journey together with them. It's about we together, and then it's about how you can service them best because you've made the connection. Now that seems very simplistic, but that's the best relationship building technique that you can add on to your repertoire, because it really is about connecting with people, and you alluded to that.
Right.
Now you mentioned something earlier, and I said we would get to it, and that's about 7, how did you put it? My story and 7 tips to have a ignited life.
Right.
Maybe you could review those 7 tips with us, and then after the fact, we'll put those 7 tips in this broadcast so that it can be on the list so that people can see what they are about, especially for those who come back for the replay. So what are those 7 tips? Because we all want to be.
I'll just go through them because I know I don't know. We don't how much. I know we don't have that much time, but I know.
Okay, are they long, each and every one?
Well, yeah, I'll just go over them because I know this is a half an hour show, right?
You know what, there is no time frame. If I wanted to make it 5 hours, I could, but I find that, you know what, and I'm sure you would, and if you don't agree, let me know, Caryn. People's attention.
I'll do it quickly. I'll do it quickly.
People can't stick around for that.
I get it.
Because we've all got so much to do, myself, you included. But I try to keep it under 30 minutes. But go ahead.
Okay.
We can take it.
All right. So it's awareness and hope and just being open-minded. And it all starts with awareness. And we talked about that, about finding to know those possibilities. And the other thing is the imagination. And that takes the 5 senses. You can imagine with your eyes, with your ears, with your nose, with your with the smell, taste, feel, hear, and see. And you've got to get in that emotion. So it's not only about seeing a picture, but you've got to really feel it. And once you have that picture in mind, that's when you can go after it, and your body will kind of follow it. But you have to get in that state of mind a lot to have that end picture. And that goes to state of mind. And Tony Robbins talks about the peak state that you have to be in. We talked about that a little bit, and just being in the best state, because if you're not feeling good, you're certainly not going to get in a great state of mind to have that imagination and be in the place that you need to manifest what you want. And then paying it. Well, the other thing is getting rid of the negative thoughts first. And where I first heard about that was with T. Harv Eker. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Yes.
So he, is all about getting rid of the chatter. And what his whole premise is, whatever you're thinking, and actually everybody's, I know Bruce Lipton has a great book too on that, The Biology of Belief, but whatever you're thinking is reality. So it doesn't matter whatever your story is and what you're thinking, that's what's going to happen. It doesn't matter what all that other junky story was. You can get rid of that. Focus on the story you want now and let that come into fruition. Never settle for that other story. So that would be the next one. And then paying forward and faith. And I have to say, I really, truly believe in faith. For me, it was God and Jesus, but in other people's lives, it could be whatever it is. But that was really strong for me. And paying it forward, because again, it's going to get you in a better state of mind. And the other two are healthy mind. Keep it healthy, keep learning, don't ever stop, keep stimulating it. The biggest thing I learned is it helps the hippocampus of the brain region for memory. And don't we all want memory? We don't want dementia. So keep that brain going. Yeah. And T. Harv Eker said, when you stop learning, you die. And so just keep it going. Keep it going. Yes. Don't ever stop. Take a new class, go to a book club, have good conversations, do whatever you can to keep it going. Healthy body. I'm a personal trainer. No, don't let that body go. And here's a tip I want people to know. Anything that you do, if you work out for 10 minutes, it's okay, because you're expending energy. Just do 10 minutes in the morning, do 10 minutes in the afternoon. I don't care what you do. Get up and move. Get up, go walk upstairs, get up, do some housework. Guess what? You're expending energy. Yes. And then you can move into maybe something more intensive or add on some minutes. But whatever you do, it matters, it counts, and you should do it. So those are my tips.
Well, listen, I love those tips. We're going to post those tips, and I'm certainly ignited because I embrace completely all that you shared. And that learn something new and excitement all the time in your life because you're embarking on something that's new and a little bit scary. It's very, very good. Tell us, what are you planning next? What's your next move? What are you thinking that's going to ignite you in a way that's going to be impactful for others as you move forward? What would that be?
I'm just going to keep learning. I'm doing more and more with the NLP, the neuro linguistics, the mind stuff. I'm learning German. I took a German class. My son is getting married in Germany.
Is this the best? Oh my goodness.
So I'm learning German. You know what? I'm like, hey, keep it going, keep it going. I just look online and I find things. I looked at storytelling. I'm like, I'm going to learn a little bit about that.
I am blown away always because I don't know why the affinity that I have for Germany is not to be believed. That's another conversation. No. I see we have loyal and faithful friends here, and you'll meet and dialogue with them all. But there's one lady I want you to meet here. Hi, Cheryl. Cheryl Piper, I want you to say hello to, because I know that you two will have a lot in common and you can share a lot back and forth. So I'm going to make sure that all of your information goes up and that people who are here will be able to connect with you, and we'll make sure that everything that we discussed here today will be on your website. Let me ask you one other little thing before we say so long for now, Caryn, my friend, and that is, you, like many of us, have read many, many books, and you have many resources, and you're deep into personal growth and personal development. So what resource can you leave us with that maybe would ignite us in a way if we've not read it already? So what would that be?
Oh, boy, I know you guys have read everything. No. Oh, my gosh.
Almost.
I know. You know what? Reread The Science of Getting Rich, or Think and Grow Rich. Reread it.
I like that, because rereading sometimes or oftentimes is very, very good, because we can get so carried away with all the new things and we forget how we initially started the journey. And one of the books that I read so many moons ago, I really pretty much forgot it was just that book. So that's a good part.
I know. That opened, I saw so clearly that things were opened up. Yes. Things were opened up and the path was clear. Yeah. So that always helps.
That's good. Thank you. That's a good way. I like that. Go back and reread something that you really were enthralled and completely captivated by. Go back and reread. There's nothing wrong with that. Now tell us, is there anything that I didn't ask or share tonight with you, or is there anything you want to ask us or share with me or the audience before we say goodbye? Oh, Cynthia, before you answer, Caryn, Cynthia Newman Mills, thank you for being here. You're always here, one of the loyal and faithful. Can you list these books here No, we can't. But when you go to the website where this will be transcribed to YouTube, all of the books will be not, oh, you want the books? We'll give you a list of books too,
Yeah.
and the 7 tips that Caryn is leaving us with. Um, she said, thank both for such inspiration. Well, you're an inspiration just by being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And
Thank
to
you.
all the other loyal and faithful. And I do want you and Cheryl, I'll ask Cheryl first. I'm sure she's going to say okay. But I want you two to connect because I believe in connecting and merging people together that will benefit each other and however they do that. What can I say? Any parting words, my friend?
You know what? I just want everybody to be able to have the ignited life that I have, and it is just keep moving, moving in whatever you do, and discovering new places and going deep and finding, you know, whatever it is that's out there for you, and don't ever settle. Don't settle.
I'm sick of the word brilliant. We all get buzzwords and we use them to death. But it fits right here. That was brilliant because it's so on point and it's so meaningful for all of us. So we couldn't end in a better way. My friend, for your first time out of the gate, you did wonderfully well.
And I just want to thank you again. You're awesome. You always look fabulous. People should be, you know, coming in droves to you. How do I do what she does?
Thank God awesome. My head is like normal because I could blow up here. Thank you. The feeling is mutual. We recently met, but when I meet, my verbiage is soul sister, I automatically know. I automatically know who's in my camp and why. And I'm always looking for people, not necessarily that are like-minded, but people who are on a journey to inspire, enlighten, and impact other lives. They've lived a good life, they've had a good life, but they're interested in sharing that life and helping other people to rise for more, different, and better. And for my work with young ladies, and especially ladies, I'm just honored when I meet someone like you. So my friend, this is the first, but it won't be an ending. Okay. You do well and take care. You look smashing. It was wonderful, and thank you for joining. I'm going to put you in the lobby, and for now, say goodbye to the audience.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. You know, I have to say that it's a journey. Life is a journey, and it's a good journey, especially when you can meet, dialogue, and exchange with women, all people. But for me and for many of the women, the ladies that I bring here, it's all about sharing our story, impacting in the most powerful way that we can, in a loving way, in a heart-centered way, to help others to rise. And as Caryn said, never to settle. Settling is not one of the words that we're going to ever embrace. This is all about leading ladies, leaving legacies, living legacies, and sharing everything to help and empower others. I want you to go to our website and also you're on the business page now. I'd love it if you would sign up for the Leading Ladies group that we formed and become a member of that. I keep saying it's an embryo, but we're changing that slowly but surely, and we'll be adding lots more information there. And if you've not gotten your free ebook on how to discover your signature style and stamp, it's the beginning of discovering your signature style and stamp, then go and get it. Just go to the pen post, click on the message bar, send message, and you'll get it automatically. In the meantime, it's always good to be with you, my loyal, my faithful, my tried, and my true. Oh, my friend Carla says I have a PDF of the Science of Getting Rich that I can email. You see, when you work with women who are just heart-centered, purpose-driven, trailblazers, they are women who are always beyond themselves, thinking, how could you not embrace and love someone like that? You do. Caryn is a new friend, but she's a lifetime friend. This I know. The same for Cheryl and others who come here from time to time. We realize that your schedule is busy. Somebody said busy is not a good word. A full schedule is better, but all of us are doing many different things. So you watch the replay. And when you do, we'll look forward to your comments, your remarks, and always value them because they're important. They're an aspect of what you're sharing with us. So until next week, same time, same place, remember to tune in on Tuesday nights where it's about discovering your signature style and stamp. Go to the business page, get your free ebook, and then let me know what your thoughts are, and we'll go on from there. And next week, we have another powerful leading lady who'll be sharing information with you that will benefit you on your journey. So until the next time, you be well and you take care of you first. Because as Caryn said, only then when you dwell deep and go inside are you able to come up, breathe, and help and inspire others. All the best, my friends. Have a great week and a great weekend. Until the next time, bye-bye for now. Cheers.